This country is smaller than Central Park. You can walk across the whole thing in under an hour. It has no farmland, no oil, no factories, and no income tax. And that last part isn't a loophole. It's the entire business model. 1 in 3 people who live here is a millionaire. The police outnumber the crime. An apartment here just sold for 471 million euros. But here's the part nobody tells you. This billionaire playground only exists because 150 years ago, this country went completely broke. This is the story of how Monaco became the address of the rich and what it actually costs to live there. To understand Monaco, you have to go back to 1848, the worst year in its history. Monaco used to be bigger. Not big, but bigger. Then 2 of its towns, Menton and Roquebrune, got sick of paying the prince's taxes and simply left. Overnight, Monaco lost about 80% of its territory. What remained was a rock, a palace, and a royal family running out of money. The ruler, Prince Charles III, had no army worth mentioning, no industry, and no land to farm. So he made a bet that sounds insane. If Monaco couldn't tax its people, it would import rich people and charge them to have fun. In 1863, he brought in a casino operator named François Blanc, the man who ran the famous casino in Bad Homburg, and gave him a hillside to build on. They named the district after the prince himself, Monte Carlo, Charles's mountain. The casino worked better than anyone dreamed. Europe's aristocrats poured in by train from Paris and London. Grand hotels went up, an opera house. And by 1869, the casino was printing so much money that Prince Charles made the announcement that would define Monaco forever. Personal income tax, abolished. Not lowered, abolished. The message to every wealthy family in Europe was simple. Come live here and keep everything. But here's the twist most people miss. While the casino was bankrolling the whole country, Monaco's own citizens were banned from playing in it. That law still exists today. If you're a Monegasque citizen, you cannot gamble in the Monte Carlo casino. You can work there, but you can't play. The princely family didn't want locals gambling away their wages. The tables were for extracting foreign money, not local money. Think about what that means. Monaco had discovered something powerful. You don't need to tax your citizens if you can monetize other countries' rich people. The casino wasn't really a casino. It was a national revenue system with chandeliers. And that idea, that the country itself is the product, is the thread that runs through everything Monaco has done since. Fast forward to 1956, and Monaco pulls off the greatest marketing move in the history of small countries. Prince Rainier III marries Grace Kelly, one of the biggest movie stars on the planet, at the peak of her fame. She was 26, she'd just won an Oscar, and she gave it all up to become Princess of Monaco. Overnight, 30 million people watched the wedding, and Monaco stopped being that casino town and became a fairy tale. Hollywood glamour, royal romance, yachts in the harbor. Tourism exploded. The world's wealthy didn't just want to visit anymore, they wanted to belong. It's hard to overstate how valuable that image still is. Monaco doesn't advertise. The Grand Prix, the casino, the royal family, the brand does the work. And brands attract customers. By the 1960s, though, someone very powerful had noticed the loophole. France. Because it wasn't just aristocrats moving in. Thousands of French citizens, more than the number of actual Monegasques, had moved a few kilometers down the coast, kept their businesses in France, and stopped paying French taxes. President Charles de Gaulle was not amused. In October 1962, after Prince Rainier refused to back down, France did something extraordinary. It put customs officers on the border of Monaco and effectively blockaded a country the size of a park. Monaco imports everything: its water, its food, its electricity. It cannot survive a standoff with France. So in 1963, Rainier signed a treaty with one giant concession. French citizens could no longer move to Monaco to dodge French taxes. With a few grandfathered exceptions, the French pay French income tax, even living in Monte Carlo. And that treaty quietly shaped modern Monaco. It couldn't be France's tax haven anymore, so it became everyone else's. British, Italian, Scandinavian, Russian, American money, Formula One champions, tennis stars, hedge fund managers, tech founders. Monaco had survived its biggest threat and come out with a global customer base. So what does the deal actually look like today? If you become a resident of Monaco, here's what you don't pay. No personal income tax. No capital gains tax. No wealth tax. No annual property tax. If you sell your company for $100 million, you keep the $100 million. But getting in is the catch. To become a resident, you have to prove you can support yourself. In practice, that means parking roughly €500,000 or more in a Monaco bank, and finding somewhere to live in the most expensive real estate market on earth. The average apartment here costs around €52,000 per square meter. That's roughly double New York. A parking space-sized piece of a Monaco flat costs more than an entire house almost anywhere else. A one-bedroom can run you $3, $4, $5 million. And people pay it, happily. Because if you're wealthy enough, the math is beautiful. Spend $10 million on an apartment, save that much in taxes in a few years, and the apartment usually goes up in value anyway. Today, around 40% of Monaco's 39,000 residents are millionaires, the highest concentration on the planet. The average resident is worth over $20 million. Monaco isn't a country with rich people in it. It's a gated community with a seat at the United Nations. But that raises a question nobody seems to ask. If 1 in 3 residents is a millionaire, who pours the coffee? Who cleans the hotel rooms, deals the cards, polishes the yachts? Here's the answer, and it might be the most revealing fact about Monaco. Every single morning, around 50,000 workers pour across the border from France and Italy. The waiters, the croupiers, the nurses, the builders, the shop assistants, more than 80% of the people who work in Monaco can't afford to live there. The country's population roughly doubles every workday and empties out every night. Monaco runs on a service army that clocks in to the richest place on earth and clocks out to somewhere they can actually pay rent. The most exclusive address in the world is, quite literally, staffed from outside the gates. And the product isn't just tax, it's safety. Monaco has over 600 police officers for 39,000 people, the highest police density in the world, roughly 1 officer for every 60 residents. Add hundreds of security cameras covering practically every street, and a response time measured in seconds. You can wear a €1 million watch to dinner and nobody blinks. For the ultra-rich, people who worry about kidnapping, robbery, paparazzi, that feeling is worth as much as the tax rate. Monaco figured out that wealthy people aren't just buying low taxes, they're buying certainty, safe streets, a stable royal family, no political drama, and neighbors who are exactly like them. There's just one problem with selling a country as a product. Monaco is running out of country. 2 square kilometers, hemmed in by France and the sea, with demand that never stops. So Monaco did the most Monaco thing imaginable. It built more Monaco. The new district of Millionaire opened in 2024, 6 hectares of brand new land reclaimed from the Mediterranean, built on giant concrete caissons filled with 750,000 tons of sand. Cost about €2 billion. It made the entire country 3% bigger. And the apartments on it sell for over €100,000 per square meter. When your land is the most valuable on earth, it's profitable to manufacture more of it. So who actually gets to live inside the gates? Scroll through Monaco's residents and it reads like a sports hall of fame. Formula One champions, past and present, tennis Grand Slam winners, boxing legends, rock stars, and a quiet army of billionaires you've never heard of. For an athlete earning $100 million over a short career, Monaco isn't a luxury. It's the single best financial decision they'll ever make. But here's a final twist. The 9,000 or so actual Monegasque citizens, they're mostly not the super rich, and the state that refuses to tax anyone takes remarkable care of them. Subsidized apartments they could never afford at market price, priority for jobs, a guaranteed place in the country their casino built. Monaco sells scarcity to the world and quietly shields its own people from the prices it created. The house, as always, looks after its own. The writer Somerset Maugham once called this coastline a sunny place for shady people. And yes, Monaco has spent decades fighting the reputation that some of the money here isn't clean. But the real answer to why Monaco is the place for the wealthy is simpler and stranger. Monaco was never a country that happened to attract the rich. It's a business that was forced to invent itself when it lost everything in 1848. And its product is the address itself. The casino, the fairy tale, the tax code, the police, the land built from the sea. Every piece exists to sell one thing: scarcity. 39,000 people get to say they live in Monaco. And the rest of the world's wealthy are on the waiting list. If you enjoyed this, you'll want to see how the world's most famous diamond company manufactured scarcity the exact same way. That story is on your screen now.